All right, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started on the live stream. Give me an audio check, and we'll get right into it. We're gonna look at the charts, see what we got going on. I have kind of a thesis going on, but we do need to use the technical, so I'll talk about that and see where we end up. Super Bowl winner, huh? Someone wants to know who the Super Bowl winner is. You know, I don't follow professional football too much. I mean, I spend a lot of time, focusing on how to make money. So that's kind of my hobby. And I like college ball though. College basketball is good. Cool. All right, so audio is good. Let's get into the charts. If you guys are new to the live stream, as I look through here, we got a couple non-members, mostly members, but this live stream I typically open up on Saturday mornings, and we'll go for about an hour. We'll look at, this is charts and stocks and trade ideas you want me to look at. So you just plop in a stock symbol, try to keep your picks to one or two. And I'll try to get to all, I just get to all the ones I can. I'll pull up the charts and we'll see what we got. So let's go ahead and just get into it. We'll give you guys a quick little recap of last week. One thing I do want to point out, let me just start diving into it. We'll start off on the weekly chart, triple Qs. Okay, so again, this has been our bear market downtrend since the bear market started back in January of 21. On the weekly chart, and we have clearly broken out of that downtrend. All right, so that's it. We've broken out of that downtrend. We did have bullish divergence as well on the weekly chart down here. So what does that mean? Well, as of right now, I can't be extremely bearish. I can't say, I'm going to short everything for the next leg lower in the bear market. I do think that is how this is going to play out, but until I see certain things in the technicals, I'm not able to just, talk the bearish talk and jump on the short trade completely. I do have some minor positions that I took on for yesterday, but just on triple Qs short, and I'll show you guys where I think things are going, but I'm not going to load up on a position. So most of my trades on the indices are going to be relatively light until I see certain things. And if I see certain things show up, then I'll have a full size position. So that's it on triple Qs. The one thing though I do want to point out, looking at like Amazon, I was just looking at it this morning. So here's the weekly chart, and sometimes we get away from the bigger picture, but look at that. This is going back to 1997. Pretty clean trend line, I feel like. Little break right here in 08. So I could maybe, I could do that. I could bring it down. If I do that, then I have this reaction. I have the 08 reaction, and then that basically brings this bear market here down here. And sure, that would be the bottom. All right. But that's only 3 data points. So in the past, I didn't have that data point. And so really what I had to go off of was this. I had 1, I had 2. That's kind of a third. I could probably tighten it up. There's a third. We had some reactions right through here as well. 4th. You can see many more reactions. And so we'll have to tighten that up. But I think I had more reactions on that trend line, and I, would only now have 3 here. So maybe that is the bottom. But for now, I'm going to just go ahead and say that this bullish trend was broken. Okay, and actually I think how I had that was something like that. Okay, we'll just go with that. So we broke trend, back tested, and failed. All right, that's it on the weekly chart. And then Google, this one, again, 1, 2, 3, 4. COVID, I kind of just threw that out because that's your COVID drop. And then this one has been broken. You can see it back tested for several weeks, gave it up, back testing again. And that's really all this big rally was a, pretty strong impulsive rally right into resistance. Also on the weekly for just, this is Alphabet. Okay, rallying into that trend line there on the weekly. So at resistance on that one. Microsoft looks like this. Microsoft got really far away from its bull trend. Here's its bull trend from what I can tell. So I think ultimately I do think Microsoft is coming down to this lower trend line. It's going to take years most likely. So nothing that we need to talk about on a day-to-day basis, but that's what I have. And then Microsoft on the weekly, you can see it at resistance as well right there. So, that's at resistance on the weekly. Google's at resistance. Amazon was at the 200-day simple moving average. It got rejected really impulsively. So I would say, and really if you look at the weekly, we are still making a series of lower highs and lower lows. All right, there's a low, there's a low, there's a low. And look, the weekly, it rallied up to that 200 and rolled over and failed and pretty much closed, from what I can tell, at resistance. 102, 103-ish right there. See, that was big resistance on the weekly chart. And they made it look really good, rallying, how the things were rallying really strong into the earnings before the earnings came out. But after the earnings came out, nothing but selling for the most part in most of these things, except for Apple. So Apple's definitely one of the stronger looking ones. I can't necessarily knock that on the weekly chart. Yeah, now I don't see anything too bearish on Apple that I can really just make a case. So we'll see what next week brings. Apple's the market leader. Apple's the largest stock. So, it is going to be tough for the market to go down without Apple going down. So we'll need to watch that. I think this is something really important to watch for next week. Okay, that is it on those things. I don't care about Meta in terms of market, determining where the market goes. TroQs, here's guys. So what I'm watching for, I have to get down to the hourly. I'm looking for I think we're back into this channel is what I would say. Yeah, last week we did have a little short trade on the 15-minute chart where I said, okay, we're probably going to sell down. The 15-minute looked good, and we did drop. We got a nice, we had some nice trades. Actually, Friday was very profitable for me at least. So I assume most of the people as well, if they're looking at my trade ideas. We're back into this channel here. This is this, bull channel. We're back into, I think we're going to head down to the bottom of the channel next week. So I took a short, looking to short it down to the bottom of the channel. I'll cover my short, I will cover. If we work our way down, hit the channel, something like that, I will cover. And then I'm not going to go long. Well, I don't know. Maybe I will go long. We'll see. I don't want to say that I'm not going to go long. We'll see. But, and if we break the channel, that's more of a time to probably add to a short if we start breaking the channel. If we break the channel, I would assume, and I talked about this on my last video, I would assume we're going to come in for a back test of this trend line right here. All right, so maybe you break the channel and come in and start and do a back test. Okay, so, and then I would cover again down there. If we broke and started to sell down, I would cover my short down there. Maybe go long. We'll have to see what the chart looks like. But then, and then obviously if we break back below, and ultimately this level to me, 279.25 looks like a pretty decent level of reaction. If we break back below there and we're back within this bearish trend, that's definitely, at least from my perspective, an all-in short. Okay, and then at that point, I would assume because we have broken out of this downward channel, everybody's foaming at the mouth bullish, and that could potentially be the feel that this market would need for that impulsive crash kind of price action. We haven't seen that in this entire bear market where we've had like really strong selling, limit lockdowns, 5% downs, gapping down 5%, just panic selling. We haven't seen that. A big spike in the VIX. And I would expect that the end of a bear market typically you have that kind of selling. So I don't know. At this point, I'm not so sure that we're at the end of this bear market, even though the technicals now are bullish. So we'll have to see this get negated, this breakout, before I would expect that panic selling to show up. All right, guys. Let's get into your charts. That's really all that I wanted to cover, and I can just go through whatever you guys want me to look at now. SMH, semiconductors. Okay. Semiconductors. Let me zoom in on this PPO here. So you have divergence right now. It's not confirmed. Okay, so we can't say that is going to remain divergence, but what I would look for confirmation, you start to see the bearish crossover right there, start to turn down. That's what you'd want to see to confirm that divergence. And that means that there would be selling pretty much out the gate next week in this one, because it's close enough. You'd probably need to see that selling show up very soon. If that does show up, then I would expect on the hourly, you probably tighten this up a little bit, and that's about as clean as I can make it. And I would say, move down to here, and then ultimately probably break. But I could see us moving down to that trend line. The way I would do it is if you start to see selling show up, it's not much, 2.5% or so, but you see selling start to show up, there could be a short down to that trend line. Probably cover down there, wait for it to break, and then re-short it. That's how I would do it. Pretty overbought on the RSI. Let me check the RSI. See, no divergence really on the RSI. I can't say that that's divergence. So it's not, I can't make a super strong bearish case on the semiconductor index. I think maybe the individual semiconductors, NVIDIA. Hope maybe somebody wants me to look at this one. Let's check this one. No negative divergence on the daily. Okay. Let's look at the hourly. And yeah, you have negative divergence on the hourly. So, that again was, to me, when we hit this resistance, I think it was signaling a move down to the bottom of the channel. And so as of right now, that's all I'm expecting, is a move down to the bottom of the channel, maybe another 2% or so. And at that point, we would need to break this channel in order to say that, we're going to come down here. So that is not super bearish, I can't make a strong bearish case. All right, IBKR. I don't know what that one is. Oh, Interactive Brokers. So this is like a bank, basically. We'll just chalk this up to finance. This is a broker. I don't use Interactive Brokers. I use Lightspeed. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one, but that's the one I use. I've been using it for years. Lightspeed, desktop trader, margin account. But let me go to the daily, see what we got going on here. I can't make a super clean trend line here. It's about as good as I can do it right there. Negative divergence on the daily PPO. And there is some negative divergence there on the RSI as well. Ooh. So you've got, this was your former kind of double top, triple top, whatever you want to call it, resistance level here. Let's see here. Yeah, I like it. I really like it right there, roughly right in there. Let me kind of tighten that up. At about 81.59, you did break out, but it is a divergent high. I suspect it fails. And then maybe head down to this trend line here. And then, you know, at that point, I would probably be looking for a breakdown of the trend line just because of the divergence in play. Let's look at XLF. That's the finance sector. I know that there's some negative divergence starting to show up. Yeah, see that? So you've got negative divergence on XLF. You really have it here too. It's just continuation. So this high that we recently made, that's a divergent high. You can see the RSI starting to turn down right there. And the PPO hasn't turned down yet, but it, you know, we'll see. I think if we start selling off next week, it probably will turn down. If you guys can't use PPO, you can use the MACD, moving average convergence divergence. That one works too. So on XLF, there's your trend line. Well, let me kind of tighten that up. Yeah, I like that one. So that's my trend line. You can see 3 data points, and we do have negative divergence. I'd be looking for a sell signal on XLF and probably the financials as well. That's one of the reasons why I've been short JPM. It looks like the financials are topping out. There's some resistance right here as well, about 37 that I've had marked out for a while. So I think that's it for the financials. They're about to roll over. That's how I'd have to play it. All right. Tesla. All right. So guys, don't get caught up in the FOMO. You know, that is the one thing that retail, they get caught up in, like, you know, they always want to, like, I see it in the comments. Everybody's foaming at the mouth bullish after a monster rally. You know, like when you rally up, Tesla's up 95% and now they're bullish. Okay, and that's just that you have to train your mind to look the other way, basically. That, you know, I want to be bullish when nobody wants the stock, you know. And again, if you guys remember, I was long. I don't know if I was long Tesla, but I definitely was long triple Qs down at the bottom. You want to be bullish when nobody wants it. When everyone wants it, you want to be selling it to them. Typically, not always, but typically. No negative divergence on the daily. There is some negative divergence on the hourly. Okay, so you're probably going to pull back. There it is right there. All right, nice clean divergence. That tells me, watch this trend line right here. So I suspect whether they run up and make a divergent high, will likely get sold into. Okay, so I would be looking for downside down to this trend line. From where we're at right now, that's a drop of, it depends on when you get there, of course, but maybe 9%, 10%, something like that. Nice little trade if we can catch it. I might try to trade this one. I would just be on the lookout for selling, okay? And that trend line would be where I'd want to cover, you know. So that's it on Tesla. And then after that, I don't know. Maybe it'll rally. It'll continue to rally up to the 200. It's possible. This could, you know, this could go up a long ways. Who knows? So, you know, but I don't want to be long with negative divergence on the hourly. I want to look for a short, and then maybe down here, sure, we could maybe try to take a long for another leg higher. We'll just have to see how the charts look. And it's not just Tesla, it's triple Qs and all that. When, you know, you have to kind of look around. AI, what is that one? Is this an artificial intelligence thing? I know that's been a kind of a hype thing recently, saying it's going to change the world. And yeah, maybe, but not in one day. Okay, so this one IPO'd back in 2020. Can't really make a clean trend line, to be honest. So, you know, It's about as clean as I can make it, and I don't like it. So that's parabolic. That should come crashing down. This is not something I would, this is like a momentum thing. You guys know, like, there's this guy on YouTube. His name's Warrior Trading, and he just, I don't know. I think he's sketch, but he does this kind of stuff where he just like plow, but he probably wouldn't trade this. He plows into like super low float stocks. I think he just like milks his subscriber base basically. But that's a momentum trade. So once this ends, it should come crashing down. When does it end? Who knows? The momentum's still there. There's no negative divergence. On this one, you really have to use smaller time frames because it's such a fast moving stock. The 15-minute would maybe be okay. 5-minute, you might get too much noise. The 15-minute is probably a little bit better. I'm using log scaling, which typically smooths out parabolic moves, and this thing's still parabolic on log scaling. So I can't even chart it. There's no negative divergence. Well, there is on the PPO, on the 15, right there. Nothing really on the it's on the RSI, it's not on the PPO. So I don't know. Maybe one that'll move higher. Look for the divergences on the slower time frames. And then I would probably expect a lot of this parabolic move to get erased. But there's a gap right there. So I just target that. Gap entry. You get a pullback, it's probably going to pull back to there. And then there's gap fill. So either one of those would be support levels that I would just target if you were going to look to short. But I wouldn't short this until I saw some signs. And I'd keep it very small. All right, Macy's, was that still M? Yeah. All right, on Macy's. Sorry, guys. Let me get to some of these super chats next. Yeah, cool. Joe, you sold. All right, cool. That's cool. I just bought some Joe, actually, on Friday on that pullback. I'll show you guys what I liked about it. But if you sold 2 days ago, that was a nice exit. It was pretty extended. Hey, thanks, Chris. I do appreciate that. All right, Macy's. So you've got divergence. Probably just go with this pattern here. I don't really like that. Just going to leave that one off. I don't have much to go off of. There's some divergence. Doesn't mean there's a sell signal on the daily at least. Let's look at the hourly. So you've got negative divergence on the hourly. Starting to confirm too. If this continues, it's going to cross. You're going to get the bearish PPO crossover, which would tell me that, okay, that's confirmed divergence, which at this point I would probably just lean towards a pullback to this trend line. And that's probably about as much as I would expect. Okay, so yeah, that's where I would guess it's going to go, is maybe a pullback to the trend line. That's a drop of 7-8%, 5%. Depends on when it gets there, of course, but that's what I'd look for. And then I wouldn't look for much more. If you break the trend line, that's a big sell signal, but you need that daily close. UKX, all right, UKX. We're looking at United Kingdom index. Okay. This is going back to what, 20? Oh, I'm on the hourly. Sorry, guys. For an index, I got to get to the daily. Huh. Can't really make a clean pattern on this one. Not from down there. Let's go to the weekly. So I got a bull trend starting back in 2008. That trend was broken during COVID, and ever since COVID, it's been just ramping up for a back test, but it does look like that major trend is broken. So on the weekly chart, no negative divergence yet. I mean, it is a divergent high right now, but it's not confirmed. So, you know, it's going to take some time, but you see, if you start to see weekly divergence show up, then it tells me that this is about it. We're going to continue lower. Starbucks. So I covered NVIDIA. I like Starbucks short. And I did short that in the after hours after the earnings came out. I figured I didn't short it like a full-size position because I figured what would happen is because we broke in the after hours, I figured, okay, it's gonna gap down and then they'll rally it up and I'll be able to add to it on a rally higher. And I did get that. So I did add to that on that rally. You can see here it started to rally up right on the open. I added to my short because I figured, okay, it's way down there. It was not likely to fully recover this bearish rising wedge pattern. So I figured it'd rally, maybe even do a full back test. When they started to roll over though, I added. And so I'm short this one right now. I've got some support. There's a little gap here on the daily chart, a little gap to fill. So you're probably going to get a bounce at 101.50. A little reaction. Here's how I think it'll go down. Whether it does, you know, I don't know. But if you're in this and you want to watch for it, this is how I think it'll trade out. All right, I think we'll roll down probably early next week, and then get a rally, a bounce maybe to, you know, there's this gap, but you've got a couple reactions right here. So I would look for either that level, and this is where we closed today. So there's another kind of, or on Friday. Okay, so, or there's the gap, but I think you roll down, you hit, maybe a bounce up to 104.30. Or if the bounce is very muted, it could stop right here at this gap. Okay. 102.53. So, you know, you probably could play a long bounce, and then I think it'll continue to roll over. Looking at the daily, yeah, and then I think it continues to roll down to, yeah, down to our target, 93.50. Maybe get a little reaction right in the middle here somewhere. Probably this reaction low. Around 97-ish. But I do think it's going to continue down to the target, probably at the 200, and, you know, we'll be out of the trade around there. Nat Gas, not for analysis, but which stock is the preferred proxy? Well, you got UNG. Boyle is a 3 times leveraged ETF. Is it an ETF or an ETN? I think it's an ETF. And it is, this thing is, you know, if you catch it right, you make a ton of money. It's just very high risk, and it has decay. So if it's not trending in your direction, the decay will eat you up. So, you know, honestly, like that UNG maybe, or you could use like an actual natural gas company. OXY, I believe, is one. I don't know. UNG is probably my preferred, I guess, but I don't have a trade here, guys, so I just don't see it yet. Looking at the hourly, we've got, you know, you've got some bullish divergence for sure. I mean, it's building, but there's no buy signal, so this will just come out of nowhere and just, you know, there will be a big short covering move on this, but we don't know when, so we have to just sit tough on that one. You are uranium, okay. Not a lot of history here, so it's tough, but I would go against this trend line right there. That's the best I could do. Bullish trend. You had some bullish divergence on the daily right there starting to show up. So the divergent low, into bullish trend. It looks bullish just in general. Watch the trend line, but to me it looks bullish. Looks like it's probably going to make another leg higher in an ongoing bull trend. That's the best I could give you on that one. It doesn't have a lot of history. All right, sorry if I'm taking a while. All right, SLB. Is that silver? What is that one? Oh, Schlumberger. This is oil, energy stock. These guys do a lot of the fracking service work and stuff, the drilling and all that. I don't really like this trend line. At resistance, that was a divergent high on the daily. See that? Boom, it's confirmed. All right. So you just made a divergent high on the daily. I would say very likely, highly probable, I suppose, that it's going to head down to the bottom of this channel. And I'm going to have to mark it like this. Change that. Down to the bottom of this channel, okay? And it's already starting. So, I mean, from where it's at now, 20% maybe, probably going to battle it out at the 200-day. They always do. I would put a good probability is heading to the bottom of the channel. And then maybe break the channel, maybe not. I don't know. But, yeah, that's what I have on that one. All right, so Netflix. So you have negative divergence. It's not confirmed. We need to see this bearish PPO cross to help confirm. Nothing on the RSI though. This looks like triple Qs to me, so it just doesn't really look that bearish. Maybe in the short term, but nothing on the daily. So, you know, yeah, here's your negative divergence on the hourly. Zooming in, you know, you're crossing just barely, but if it continues, you'll have that cross. So maybe, you know, like that's what I see on tech is short-term pullback, longer term I can't be bearish. So pull back over the next day, couple days, maybe to a week, and then from there we can't be bearish until we see some other things show up. All right, so that's that. And then Airbnb. Airbnb. All right, so on Airbnb, at resistance. Okay. So there's the daily. You're at resistance. Very likely you're going to get a pullback. Okay. I wouldn't be going long here. Let's put it that way. If I had to pick long or short, I'd pick short. Just because of that major resistance. No divergence on the daily. If I go to the hourly, you have divergence. Again, tech stock. Bearish in the short term. And then I'm not necessarily bullish like we've started a brand new bull market. I don't think that's true. Could be true. I don't see enough in the charts to tell me we've started a brand new bull market. But I can't be long-term. I can't be bearish right now either long-term. I'm not going to just load up on a position and say, we've got to go down because I think we're going to go down. No, I think we're going down in these tech stocks next week. And then down there, I'll cover, maybe go long or flat. You know, definitely not going to stay short. So we'll look. But this one, likely going to get a pullback, you know, at a minimum to this trend line. And that's a drop of 2%. You're probably going to get more than that. There is also this, looks like decent support. You got a decent amount of reactions right down here. So down at that 100 area. That's 15%. I don't know if you'll get it that big of a drop. I'd probably just go with this one. Well, you got the gap, so I would say definitely there. No, I can't say definitely, but highly likely. 115-ish. Maybe a little lower, maybe down into this area. We'll have to see where the triple Qs is at that point in time. If the triple Qs is down at that lower support channel that I showed, and this is just here, then that's as far as I'd give it. All right, XSOB, I already covered that. Already covered the Qs. I can look at SPY, but I mean, in general, it's kind of the same. Qs is just like a hypercharged version of the SPY for the most part. I don't know what is going on here. Lots of videos throughout the week. So, because SPY has the defensive stocks in it. No negative divergence on the daily. Okay. Oh, sorry. That was the hourly. Let me go back to the daily. So, no real negative divergence on the daily. It's there on the PPO, but it's not confirmed, and it's not there on the RSI. So I'm not going to say that's, anything I'd really trade off of. And then on the hourly, you don't really have any negative divergence on the hourly either. So I don't have a strong opinion on SPY right now, to be honest. I don't want to go flat. I don't want to go long. I mean, if you're long, you could stay long, I suppose, because here's some support right about 410-ish. But again, you don't want to just trade in a vacuum. You want to look at the triple Qs as well. And, well, I already covered that, so. All right, let me see what else is going on. I see somebody saying, hey, who made money this week? That's one thing I'd like to ask, Let me know if you made some money this week, with my trade ideas or even your own trade idea. But maybe just we can do a victory dance. That's always fun, right? I mean, that's what we're here to do. So leave a comment. Let me know. You don't have to say how much unless you want to. I mean, if you made a ton of money, I think that's cool. I mean, we're here to cheer each other on, and everybody's on their own path. But all right, I'm going to continue and see what we got going on. See if there's anything interesting. Volley looks like a sell to me. I shorted that one on Friday. It was close to support though, so I did cover it. Here's what I got on Volley though. You've got this. You got negative divergence on the daily PPO. It's not really there on the RSI. You have a bearish rising wedge. You've got a breakdown and sell signal, but I had some support. Let me go to the hourly to show you. I had some support right in here at about 17.13. It got down to 17.30. That's too close to support for me to want to just stay short. So I covered that. So maybe we get a bounce, but I do think there's probably a little more downside after a bounce. You probably bounce, I can't really see a clean bounce target. Maybe there. It's about as good as I would go. 1780 or so, maybe bounce and then continue to roll over down to this next level of support. Going back to the daily here, down here at about 16, and then down there I'd probably be a buyer. That looks like a good buy zone for the next leg higher. Yeah, that's how I would treat that one. This is very similar to the gold play, so let me go ahead and flip over to some of those gold stocks like Barrick. Shorted this one on, I don't remember exactly when I shorted it, but it was just in the last few days. I put it out in the private member group that, hey guys, this looks like a good short. I think we're going to get a drop, and sure enough, nice drop, That's down 8% or so. On Friday, it looks like it hit support on the hourly, or, you know, close enough. I mean, it did undercut it. I had support about 1840, and it did undercut it, but I suspect there's this gap down here, so maybe it could drop down to 18. It's coming close to some support, so probably going to get a bounce. I think after the bounce, you probably sell down a little more. To me, I don't see it going much below about 1755, I think, is probably a decent level of support. You can see here, that's pretty decent support right there. That's as far as I think it'll drop. So a little more downside, and then probably a good area to buy. I'd be a buyer of dips on gold. I think there's just a little more downside. And I shorted it. I started covering some of my short because obviously we're getting, you know, close to the where I think it'll stop. So I wanted to lock in some profit. All right, ARC. That's just a hypercharged version of triple Qs. Well, let's look at ARC. Maybe there's a trade there. No, I don't see anything bearish that I can say is bearish on this one as of right now. So you got resistance up here. There's some resistance right here. I haven't had it marked, but I just see it right now. It's right in this area. And I think we just hit it or came close. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think we're right there. You can see there's a reaction. There's lots of little reactions and ticks right in there. There's another one. That's a level. And I think we just rallied. We came close enough. They started selling early, but that looks like it, you know. But I don't have any divergence, so at the end of the day, I can't be bearish on it. Maybe you get a pullback to this trend line. But, you know, that's a 5% drop or so, but that's about as much as I'd be willing to say that it could do as of right now. Okay, I think I covered Tesla already. Let me see here. Try to work our way down this list. FSLR and Snow. All right, well, there's nothing in FSLR right now. I'm watching it. I think there will be a short, but on the daily chart, we have big negative divergence. I mean, it's massive. So this will play out most likely for a nice long swing short, trending short trade. We just don't have that sell signal yet. And so this is the trend line I have on the daily chart. Need to see a break of that. Once we break this, I do believe, and it needs to be an impulsive break. You'll see it. Earnings is coming up. Maybe it'll be on that. Once you get that sell signal, I think we are heading all the way down here. And it will take time, but 78, it will take time, but this divergence has been building. It tells me that this is going to have a nice long swing trade down. So that's it. Nothing to take action on yet, but you know. Okay, that's that one. And then talked about when we go long gold, soybeans. You know, commodities, man, this wheat thing has been tricky, huh? It's because, you know, who knows? It's a news headline thing, but look, they popped it, sold it back below. I'm not in it right now. Took a small loss on it on Friday because looked like a breakout, but then when it looked like a breakout, they started selling into it, and I said, oh, I'm not going to let it go. So, yeah, false breakout. Maybe we head down to the bottom and then break out. There's, no trade for me right now. And then soybeans. Rocking a bullish trend. Looks bullish. Yep. No negative divergence on any time frame that really matters. Looks bullish. Just rocking a bullish trend. This is what a this is what a bull market looks like. Just steady and slow, grinding higher. Okay? It's just working its way higher over time. That's a bull market. All right? That's typically how bull markets behave. Bear markets do this kind of stuff where they just spike up 20%, just within a matter of, I guess this is back in January. So in a month, they're up 20%. That's a bear market. It's either a bear market or the start of a brand new bull market, because you do see that at the start of brand new bull markets initially. So I can't say definitively that we're still in the bear market, but I also can't say definitively that we've started a new bull market. Need more information. We'll get it. We'll figure it out. All right. I did cover Barrett Gold. I think gold has a little more to go to the downside and then should continue to rally. WBA, is that boots? What are Walgreens boots? Yeah. Not really a clean trend line there. I'm kind of wondering why someone likes this, and I assume it's probably because of the dividend, because it has a 5% dividend. Isometrical triangle is the best I could say. So it's going to break either up or down. We don't know which way. I don't see any clues or indication in the momentum. Slight negative divergence on the hourly, so maybe you pull down to the trend line, but that's it. And then, what was the other one? Crowd or Verizon? Yeah, so this person likes dividends. That's what's going on. Dividend stocks can be, they can trick you because, the dividend ropes you in. And then you just take a bath in the price, like this one. I mean, if you've owned this for the last 4 or 5 years, you've collected the dividend, but it basically went nowhere, and now it's given up. From the highs, it's down 50%. So I don't know if those dividends have made up for that. Maybe it's even money to slightly down. On this one. I can't fully say it has divergence yet. So that would be my area of resistance. Right about there. 42.65. You got the 200-day. You got a lot of resistance overhead. So until that breaks, it's resistance. And that's it. So, I suspect you're going to probably pull down to the trend line. You don't have negative divergence really, so I don't know. Maybe this. Honestly, I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on it. Okay. Crowd. We'll talk about that because that's something I've been kind of pointing out. If triple Qs comes down, this is obviously going to come down. Support looks right there. 107.50. So at this point, it's probably going to come down.
That's based off of what I see in the triple Qs. And I think but that's support. So maybe it does that. At that point, I wouldn't want to, short it. I think you maybe do that, and then we could probably bounce. That's my gut feeling on that one. Okay. PFE. Well, all right, the dollar, I did point out something to the private member group. The dollar just broke out, guys, to the upside. That should be bearish on stocks in general. There's your breakout on dollar futures. Okay, so dollar looks like it's going to start rallying. And again, gold, there's your breakdown. So, okay, so that should start to put pressure on tech stocks, as the dollar rallies. PFE. So this one, bear market, I believe. Bull market, bear market. And, look, look, bull trap. This is all stuff that's already played out, so it's already happened, but it's a bear market. So I would treat this as sell the rip. Really pretty oversold, obviously. It looks like you're going to get a PPO crossover, so maybe there's a rally here, but in general, larger picture, bear market. And you got some resistance right here, 45, 50 or so. You got some gaps to fill overhead. So I don't know. I guess in the near term, it does look like it wants to rally, see some of these gaps, maybe test the 200, but bigger picture bear market is how I would treat that one. Which means that likely it will make a lower low in the future. I just don't know when. Could be a year from now. All right, I'm gonna go for 5 more minutes, guys. So let me make sure there's any super chats or whatever I haven't covered. I want to make sure I get to those. Ice loop. Okay, I already got yours. And let me talk about that Joe real quick. This is coffee. Just had a divergent low on the daily. All right, so look, bullish divergence right there. So that's a divergent low. That's that buy signal. I didn't buy it down here. Wish I did, because I had it marked out and everything. I don't know, was focused on something else. But that looked like the buy zone. I even wrote it out way back here, buy zone. And it hit it. So just kicking myself for not getting that one. It was just perfect. But so now you got a bull trend. Looking at the daily now, let's talk about kind of what's going on now. I don't see anything on the daily. And I don't see anything on the hourly. Still looks bullish to me. So in general, this bullish trend here, I think, continues. And it pulled back to the trend line support. I bought some right there. Okay. Maybe it pulls back some more. I don't see it in the chart. There's nothing telling me that that's going to happen. And also, you can see the buyers were there. See that little tail? It dipped down, and the buyers stepped in and were buying it. So I think we continue up, at least to the 200. We just had a divergent low. Big impulsive sell down, huge plunge down, divergent low on the daily. I think we're going on to make new highs, to be honest. I think it's by the dip, okay? So in this commodity. So we'll watch, but yeah, I would look for, you've got resistance. This is where I think we're heading in the near term, is up to the 200 and somewhere around that 54.75 area. Good resistance there, so we'll see what happens up there. if it gets up there, but that's a move of another 10%. But at the end of the day, this looks like we're going to go on to make new highs in an ongoing bull market, is what I would say. Look at that too. You're coming off the lows. This is the bull market trend line. You undercut it right here and just recovered it. It's a big bear trap. With a big bear trap like that, with a divergent low, it's just very bullish. It's a very bullish looking chart to me. So I would say that this is just, you know, this has got another leg in an ongoing bull market. I think we're going to continue higher for a while on this one. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Let me just scroll through here and make sure I'm not missing anything. AMD, that's a semi. Let me look at that one because I am kind of interested in shorting these semis, but let me just double check, see if there's... No. No, I don't want to short that one. Not right now. I mean, when I look at this chart, it looks bullish. I can't deny that. So I don't want to short it. And I don't want to go long right here. It's not a go long. It's not a short. To me, it's maybe a pullback and go long. We'll have to see what the chart looks like. You've got this gap to fill. There's some support right in here. So I would, you know, maybe a pullback. And I'd be more interested in buying it down there. There's also this trend line. Let me get down to the hourly. Mark this out. You've got this trend line. It's about right there. Yeah, so I think it does this. And that down here, I'd probably be more interested in going long, guys. Unless I see something different in the charts, then that looks like the area to go long. That's it. That's all I can say for right now. All right. But again, I don't know if I'm going to go long down here. I got to, you know, when we, you know, if we get down to these areas, I'm going to take a look around the landscape, see what I see if I'm seeing any signs of a potential bull trap. Because that's kind of my theory right now is we're going to have a bull trap, but it's not something that I just want to short based on a theory. I need to see some stuff in the charts. So when we get down here, we'll kind of take a look around and see what we want to do. All right, and then and again, just to go back to the like the NASDAQ futures, which we'll be, you know, I'll be looking at next week. Here's your bullish trend here. Okay, we got to the upside of it. We have, is that negative divergence? Not really. So that's what I'm watching for. For now, guys, if we enter back into the channel, we head to the bottom, and then that's it. That's as far as, that's the only trade that I have right now on the broad indices is a potential entry into the channel and go down to the bottom. Down there, we either go long or go flat and wait for other signals. Okay, 2 more, and then I have to get wrapped up. So if I didn't get to you, sorry. Hey, good, Mattis Eyewear. I'm glad you're able to make some money on the short-term analysis. You know, I like to cover the long-term and the short-term, but the long-term stuff is more for investing. The short-term stuff is good for like swing trading. So I do both. U.S. Steel X. Okay, I haven't looked at that one, so let me look at that one. It's been a while since I looked at that one. me get to the weekly just so I can, not the monthly. That's a divergent high on the weekly. See that? You've got negative divergence on the weekly. Whether it extends, I don't know. Maybe it continues to make a new high, but it's still diverging on the weekly. On the daily, yeah, I don't see much divergence on the daily. Look at that doji. So there's a doji right there. That's a potential reversal candlestick. Not confirmed. You need confirmation, but that is a reversal candlestick. So confirmation would be more selling, probably Monday. And then let's look at the hourly. And then, yeah, you've got some divergence on the hourly showing up. See it right there. Okay. And then with that reversal, that doji, now it did come on earnings, so we'll see. It is telling me that this is going to potentially reverse. But again, this trend line's not that clean. Look for more selling. You get more selling, maybe you're going to get a pullback. I don't have a strong opinion on this one, to be honest, right now. I'm seeing mixed signals, so I don't know what I would do here. The doji is concerning, so I think maybe a short-term pullback, but... Oh, wait a second. This is... you do have negative divergence here on the daily. Right here. Okay. Not confirmed. They're kind of battling it out, it looks like. If you zoom in on the PPO, see that they're it's not confirmed. You're kind of battling it out. So if it could do that, but there is divergent there as of right now, and you have a doji. So look for confirmation. If you don't get that confirmation on the PPO where it starts to turn down, and if sorry guys, I'm trying to zoom back out, and if this, if you don't get confirmation on this doji, then not confirmed. But if it confirms, then yeah, we've got negative divergence on the daily, and we might at a minute, you probably get a pull back to this 23 area if that happens. Okay, I got one more. I'm a few minutes over. I've gone for an hour, and so we'll do one more. Drop me a thumbs up, guys, if you haven't done so. We got 52 likes. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, I'd appreciate it. It's literally like takes 1/10 of a second to click a little button. And let me just scan through and see if there's anything interesting I want to cover. Ford. Ford's not that interesting. You know what I'm going to wrap up with is the industrials, because to me they look like a decent short sector. And again, that's like CAT, they're a big one. EMR, CAT's working, guys. It's continuing to work. They rallied it on Friday, but just an inside day. So should continue lower. And then EMR, let's see here, industrials. This one I think is at resistance. So here's what I got on this one. All right, daily, you can see resistance broke over, but this is divergent highs. Okay, so signaling a potential bull trap. There's your bull trap. Okay, rallying into resistance again. Okay, so at resistance again. Also a big old fatty bear flag, signaling a potential continuation to the downside, and that sets us up for a move, down in this area. Okay, So that's what I got on that one. I like that one. Earnings is coming out, what is it, next week? On the 8th, it looks like. So I suspect this thing's going to tank on earnings. That's what I would have to guess. And it's, you know, it's a little bit of a crapshoot when you do earnings. If you want to wait, you know, you could wait for the break of the flag. But the thing is with earnings, oh, not my fibs. The thing is with earnings, you're probably not going to get a objective entry. It's probably going to gap down. So I think this warrants a starting short position. Maybe not a full position, but I think it warrants a starting short position. If it gaps down big on earnings, okay, you probably don't want to add on a big gap down on earnings. But at least you'll have that starter position, and then you can add on rallies, you know. If it gaps down, maybe they step in and buy it, try to bid it up a little. You can add to your short on the rally and then look for that to continue lower. So that's what I like about that one. I think it's a good trade setup. And wait, before I get off that, I suspect there's divergence on the hourly chart. Let me just double check. Let's see here. No, not really. Not really diverging on the hourly. Let's go down to the 15-minute, see what we got going on. Little divergence on the 15-minute showing up. Not enough to tell me anything, but bigger picture, that's the trade I have. So I think it makes sense for a starter short. Now, of course, if earnings comes out good, they're going to gap it up, but this is a big bull trap. So I think it's a continuation play. Okay, and then XLI, also the sector is in our favor if you want to short, because here's the thing. On XLI, see the daily, negative divergence on the daily. Okay, so this looks exactly like that EMR chart for the most part. You got the downtrend, you got this price action up here. Each one of these highs are divergent highs. This one's on watch for shorting. This is a sector that looks like it's ripe for shorting. There's rotation going on right now. That's what's happening in the market. People are rotating out of what looks like financials, healthcare, and probably industrials, and rotating into tech. So this looks like a short very soon. Negative divergence on the daily. When I get down to the hourly, I'd be looking for a break of this trend line right here. You break, that's your sell signal. At that point, I think we head down here. And ultimately, I think this breaks, okay, because of this divergence that's been building. So I think it will look like the EMR stock, you know, probably relatively soon. So this is one of my favorite sectors right now for shorting. Along financials looks interesting to short. Healthcare is looking okay. But yeah, this is like CAT and Boeing. Sorry, I'm just going off on a tangent, but this is kind of the area that I'm shorting in right now. And so even though the tech stocks were rallying, these shorts that I've been talking about, they are working. Okay, they are profitable. So that's the rotation that I see. So here's Boeing down on Friday. Looks like we're going to continue lower. Negative divergence on the daily. Okay. So that's what I like right now. I like these short, and tech, not my favorite, but you know, tech would be, tech to me is maybe a long after we get a little pullback, but that's it. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. So hopefully you guys found value, and I'll catch you on Monday. All right, take care.